Hi, hello, and welcome to another I read 3 TBR Co books. So, basically, I finished the first one, so we are just going to, talk about why this was recommended to me, and then, as I read the other ones, you will hear what they said. So the first one is The Other Black Girl, and basically it says, I picked this for you because you mentioned that you like to read more diversely. This is an incredible portrayal of some of the experiences that people of color are subjected to in working environments that outwardly seem to not be overly hostile, but are still terrible beneath the surface. In this, a young black woman is the only black employee at a publishing company, and when another black woman is hired, she's thrilled. But it soon seems like there's a competition going on that she didn't sign up for. And when threatening notes start to appear, she knows she's not imagining things. So, I gave these 3 stars. So this is supposed to be a thriller, mystery, horror book. And I wasn't thrilled, I wasn't scared. There was like nothing. I just feel like in the beginning you are really like interested in what is going on. But in the middle, you can kind of just skip to the end and you will basically know everything. So, I just feel like 3 stars, it was fine, to be honest. So, I feel like Mayona, she basically wrote something that I feel like is definitely true and is definitely one thing. It says, I hated Nellie as a narrator, which made me hate the book so much. Nellie doesn't feel black enough, and you can tell she struggles with it, even from the small line where she doesn't want to admit she lived a privileged life, even though she did. At times it was just weird because she wanted to please white people, but couldn't fully admit it, and having one black friend doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry, but Nellie felt like a coon at times. Hazel honestly wasn't that bad, but I think that's because the author could have made her a bit worse than she was. You could tell Nella was jealous of her, and that's why she acted the way that she did. And there were definitely some comments down here that was just like, and it basically, someone says in the comments that basically you are kind of like pushed towards not liking Hazel. Yeah, it says that like Hazel wasn't a big threat and the author should have tried harder to make her, because it made Nella seem extremely insecure, and yeah, she definitely did. And basically someone says that the meanest thing that Hazel did for the majority of the book was encourage Nella to speak up and then not back her up. And that is really true, she did. Yeah, like Hazel wasn't threatening until like the last 10 minutes of the book. So yeah, I definitely feel like the discussion in Mayona's like review is definitely a good conversation to have, and it's interesting to read. And basically, another thing that I found a little, that I was a little bothered by it, was that basically, Nellie basically says she's reviewing books, and basically at one point she basically says that she found parts of a book offensive. However, she doesn't have anything to kind of back it up. She hasn't any specific annotations on, and I just like, really, if you are a black person reviewing a white person's book because there are a black character in there, you really need to write down if anything is offensive so that the author can change it. And basically she just says things a little wrong and doesn't kind of back up why does she find these parts offensive. Because definitely as a white person, you really need to think, why does people find this offensive? However, I just feel like if Nella is finding things offensive, she should really have a backup, like this is why it's offensive. And basically, maybe like say, if you write it this way instead, it won't be offensive. Just so the author knows that this is what I can change to make my book better. And someone says that they wanted Nella to grow backbone, and yes. And yeah, there are definitely some people who don't like Nella, and I feel like that is like, yes, she should really grow backbone, but you know. And there was like a part in here that was just like, I was so confused because there was another POV in here, and I was just like, I have no idea who this person is. That is kind of everything that I have. I just feel like whenever I am talking about any sort of book, I don't really know what to say, because it's like, yeah, but I mean, I like this book. I just felt like, I mean, we all know that I have a complicated relationship with thrillers, and yeah, I want to be really thrilled. And you know, one thing was that I already knew that Hazel was not one behind the notes, but there was something sketchy with her since the note started, when she was there. And there was some things that, yes, I didn't see coming, but there was like things that, and yeah, Elias from Elias Reed, he wrote, "This was ultimately super messy and dry. You can literally skip and read the ending of the book to save time. There was some good aspects and conversation to be had within the book about racial diversity and women in the workforce, but the writing and I were not compatible." And I feel like that is also a few of the feelings that I have. Like, I loved like the conversation that you have about, you know, these, like, being the only black person in a workspace, and yes, you want to kind of fit in, but I also just felt like, yeah, the writing was just a little, it didn't capture me, because when I am going to listen to an audiobook, it needs to capture me, and I basically wanted to just skip a lot of parts. And sometimes I did skip a little, and I didn't feel like I was missing anything, you know. And I think that is kind of one thing that is a little boring, because I want to love it. I mean, I want to love every book that I read, but I didn't. But I'm going to see if I can get to another book, and I will talk more once I have been able to do that. Okay, so let's talk about the next book for this vlog, and that is not vlog, video. So this is The Last Chance Library, and basically the recommendation letter says, "I picked this for you because you enjoyed books about books before, and because this is a really adorable little romance. In this, a shy librarian finds herself standing in the limelight in an effort to save her beloved library, and along the way she makes a handful of amazing friends, starts to process the grief that she's been feeling, and reignites an old connection." I ended up giving this probably like a 3 stars. It was a fine story. However, once I hear that there is a romance in it, I just didn't feel the connection between these two. I didn't like love the romance. I loved the part of like books about books. I really love that premise. It's really, really good. However, I didn't feel the connection to the romance. These two people, yeah, I just didn't feel like this had enough romance for me to categorize it as a romance, you know. Because yes, it does have a romance like subplot, but I don't think I would call this a romance book. It's more like a contemporary with like a sprinkle of romance. So I just, yeah, once I, you know, hear that it has a romance in it, I just want to feel the romance between these two people, and I didn't. And I really liked how kind of this shy person gets friends and become a little bit more like outspoken. However, it's just 3 stars because it's like a good one. If it was a series, I don't think that I would have continued on with this series. But I mean, the characters and like the writing, it was good. I just didn't fully love the romance, and that is kind of where things stop for me once you get to kind of the first thing that comes up on GoodReads is romance. And you know, then I kind of want to feel the romance, but I didn't. And that kind of is where it fell flat for me. But I will definitely, I mean, I could definitely try Freya Simpson another time, because it wasn't like a horrible book. The writing was good. I just think like for romances, I read so many romances that, you know, you kind of know what you like and don't in romances. And yeah, but I mean, if you just want a sweet romance where it's totally clean, you know, then you should definitely give this a try. So the last book, why don't we just talk about what it is? It's Daughter of Sparta, and it says, I picked this for you because you previously enjoyed YA high fantasy and because you listed one of the ACOTAR books, which also started out as a loose retelling, as a favorite. Yes, I really love ACOTAR, more ACOMAF, because I feel like that is like even better. But ACOTAR's, those 2 books that I have read, I really enjoyed. I have not gotten to ACOWAR yet, so I need to get to A Court of Wings and Ruin. I started it, didn't finish it, and now I kind of just need to, I think I might have to reread the 2 others just to get a recap. I do like halfly know what is happening, but I just feel like that is kind of one thing that I want to just reread them, because I love this series and I think it might be easier to do it like that. And yeah, let's continue on. This is a great adventure filled read that reimagines the story of Daphne and Apollo in a way that lets Daphne display some amazing skills and greatly improve the relationship between her and Apollo. In this, Daphne is given a series of tasks that must be completed in order to save the mortal world and also keep her brother from dying. Her trusty guide is, of course, Apollo. So, this should be interesting. I don't know how long this is. This one is like 375 pages. This should be really interesting to see. I am going to start this one and read it, and then we will wrap up and see what I feel about it. And yeah, wrap up this video, which is Daughter of Sparta. So this one ended up at a 2.5, and this one was in comparison to A Court of Thorns and Roses, and it was basically enemies to lovers to enemies again, and that is a really cool concept. However, I did not connect with the characters at all. I didn't love any one of those, and yeah, I just feel like I am really picky about my YAs, and I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. It's just 2.5, didn't love it like halfway. Like, it was fine, it was okay, but it's not like something that I'm going to continue on with. And yeah, so overall, I don't really know why I didn't love this, I think it's the characters, and I didn't connect fully with, you know, other characters or writing. And, you know, not doing any one of those really just, I didn't love it. So that's where we are at. So that is 3 more TBR co-books I have read, and overall it went fine. I mean, I had a, I don't really know, 4, 3 and a 2.5 or something. So I think 2.5 is my lowest so far on books that I have liked, but I don't love all books, and that is basically what we can see. And yeah, but I hope you like this video, and I will see you next time for another one. Bye!